Baseball family, welcome to your source for the 2022 MLB Playoffs with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. Thank you for joining us live as we watch history in the making. And now, baseball together.
Baseball family, welcome to a very special live edition of the Baseball Together podcast. Doing this special for the playoffs. I am Brad, and as you would guess, I am joined by our guy Brig. How are you this evening, Brig?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing well, thank you. Especially since survived the weekend.
Oh, dude, I'll bet you are floating on every cloud there is.
Truly. We'll get there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it later. But it was the most relaxing Sunday I've had in months, Brig. Months.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, baseball family, we made it through Wild Card weekend, and it was indeed wild, like absolutely outstanding. Brig, my first question for you is: how do you feel about this new Wild Card format?
Blind reaction. Like, in a word, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad it was 3 games instead of 1. I'm glad that there were multiple games to watch. I'm glad that the broadcast schedule largely allowed me to watch one after the other, which I did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, all the way around, I feel like this is one of the most well-planned and well-executed decisions Major League Baseball has made in a long time. Oh, that's my personal opinion.
I think you're exactly right. My big thing with it was that it still felt like you still felt the urgency of a 1-game series, or like, I guess, a 1-game playoff, right?
Yeah.
Because a series isn't 1 game, let's be honest. But you felt the urgency of the 1-game playoff because only losing 2 is not very many. But I felt like the better team advanced in every series.
Yes.
Right? Like, you saw the Padres come out and absolutely dominate the Mets. Like, in a 1-game playoff, you'd be like, oh man, the Mets need one more.
Well, we didn't see DeGrom, right? Is what they all
said.
Said.
So DeGrom comes out, and then the Mets win, and then you come back and you're like, well, okay, the Padres are a better team. So I thought it played out the way that it should have.
That's right, because the best teams really did move on, and it's irrefutable. Like, if you lose 2 in a row, sorry, man. You know, like it.
Yeah.
You gotta throw your best out there in 2 in a row, and I hope that doesn't come back to bite me, you know, in 10 days or whatever.
Right. Well, and this is the other thing too, is that I'm curious what kind of momentum these teams will have going into the division series against teams that have been off for a week, right?
Yeah.
Because that's always been the big thing, is that pitchers are like, well, I got to get my reps in. I got to get my bullpens in. Like, well, you can still get your bullpens in. You know, I understand it's not the same as having a game day, but you can still carry yourself and go about your day like it was a game day as much as you want to. As much as you want to. You can do that when you have days off.
Aroldis. You can. You can do that.
We'll get there. But I really am curious, though, like how much rest versus rust is going to come into play in this next series. But I think we'll get there later.
Yeah. So. It's a really important topic. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into these wild card series, and let's talk about it. We're gonna go through. We're gonna recap the wild card series, and then we will after we come back from a short break, we will get into the division series and give you previews and what you should watch for and why you should watch them, why you should care, and maybe why not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Cross that bridge when we get to it. First off, let's talk Phillies at Cardinals. The Phillies won this series in 2 games.
I am aghast. I was.
I am too. The Phillies tried so hard not to make it to this series. I didn't think they were going to make it past this series.
No way. Nobody did. And they're all, you know what's so funny? What's so funny is that you get into the locker room, you know, like the after party, and the manager wants to say a thing or the team leader wants to say a thing. And they're like, we knew it all along. Like, this is what we've been working for all year long. And it feels so authentic with every team but the Phillies this year. I feel like
you're right.
That is not, you can't say that because that's not true. Like, you barely limped your way through Joe Girardi's last few weeks and then you didn't know what you were going to get, and neither did anybody else.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and then they
don't come at me.
crawled to the finish line at the end of the season. Just absolutely crawled to it. They were doing everything they could not to make the playoffs, and then they were forced to go because the Brewers refused to win too.
Same,
So,
yeah.
yeah. But no, they came out. They fought. They were down 2-0 going into the ninth inning in game 1. Ended up winning that game 6-3, and that was when I was like, okay, these Cards might be in trouble.
Yeah.
If they can't get out of this one, I don't see them getting out of this series.
Yeah.
They showed up.
They really did show up. And I think it comes down to pitching, and that's something we'll get into later. But, I mean, Zach Wheeler was just unbelievable. So was Nola. But Zach Wheeler – so, look, Zach Wheeler went 6 1/3 with 4 strikeouts. And then Nola in game 2, Aaron Nola went 6 2/3 with 6 Ks. He only gave up 4 hits and 1 walk the whole time. It was like, what? This is fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It's truly awesome. But yeah, I mean, was there any indication in this series besides that ninth inning that showed you that the Phillies are just going to dominate that second game the way that they did? Or?
No. The fact that they dominated the second game blew me out of the water. I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anybody expected this to be the farewell that Yachty and Pujols got.
Oh,
not even close.
But
the Phillies are glad to give it to him.
What happened to Nolan Arenado? Like, where did he go that last game?
Well, in the first game, even.
Yeah.
Like in the ninth inning, there he kind of got all late on one, got handcuffed on a hard ground ball, and they're like, it was just that kind of day, that kind of inning that even Nolan Arenado couldn't make the play.
Super weird, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, they were just. It wasn't just that they were off and that the Phillies were on, because I think even in that matchup, 9 times out of 10. Or I guess in this case, 8 times out of 10. See, we can say that because it was a series
right,
and it wasn't a 1-game deal. Yeah, it just even on paper, you think, wow, how is this possible? I mean, but that's baseball, Susan. So
that's right.
Super great.
Exactly
it's truly awesome.
It is. And that's October baseball too, and it's what makes it so amazing. Let's move on to the Padres and Mets. Bed metting complete.
Oh man, dude. They met the bed so hard. And you've been warning me and preparing me.
Well, and then I started drinking the Kool-Aid last Thursday.
I know you did.
I was just like, Brig, you might be right.
And then you were, and it's just upsetting. Again, another instance of, team just didn't come to play. Game 1 was rough. Game 2 was what I expect to see, or closer to what I expected to see. Mm-hmm. And then game 3 was the opposite. Just absolutely ridiculously not what I expected to see.
Yeah. Yeah, my mind was completely blown with game 3, the way that things went. I mean, Joe Musgrove was unreal, like to the point that Buck Showalter had to manufacture reasons to try to slow him down. Go check his ears. He might have something there. Yeah. They're awfully shiny.
Okay. Yeah. No, and I supported Buck. I'm like, man, this is like an instance of back your guys up and do everything you can. And I think it was a good decision from like culture manager, whatever. But it shows how desperate they were. I think that's not something we can gloss over.
What it was. It was a desperate move, and it was a classic Buck Showalter desperate move, though, is what it was.
For sure. Which is great. That's the old school style he brings, and we love it.
It is, yeah. It is. Yeah, you're right. But
so here's what killed me was Trent Grisham.
Oh, yes.
Throughout the whole series, I'm sitting there like, what? He looked like a little leaguer all year long at the plate. And then he comes in and he hits 2 home runs in the series and a number of productive at-bats to complement those home runs. And then his defense is phenomenal. We all know that. But
right.
I didn't understand who came to play.
Well, it's weird because all season long I've been looking at Trent Grisham just thinking that's not who this guy is, right? Like he's way better than this.
Right.
And then now he shows up like, yes, there he is. And was it on our Instagram that you put up with it was Trent Grisham during the season. It was David Spade on
bench
bench
warmers.
warmers chopping at it like a sword. And
Yeah.
then and then Trent Grisham in the
Barry
playoffs
Bonds.
was Barry Bonds.
Yes, I did post that. It was somebody else posted it, and I totally ripped it off. It was awesome.
But it
I
was
had to
spot
use
on.
it.
It was exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, so
So
what's interesting is that Juan Soto flipped the script on us and did not show up for the first 2 games. And I was just as surprised by that. But even with Juan Soto out, which he's not been great in a Padres uniform leading up to today anyway. So it wasn't, we were just hoping he'd find that extra gear. And I think he maybe did a little bit in game 3, but not in the first 2. And even with that, they still demolished the Mets.
Yeah. Well, and Max Scherzer I don't want to say not showing up, but showing up the way he did. I don't know if I was as surprised as maybe I expected myself to be for that to happen because of how things ended last year in the playoffs. Yeah. Right? At the very end he's saying my arm's dead. I can't lift it. That he's getting older. Yeah. And things like this are going to happen. And I wonder if maybe next year he moves to the 3rd starter in the rotation, or even goes into I guess he's not going to be a closer because they still got Sugar Diaz. It'll
be middle relief. Yeah.
If they move him to the bullpen, or they move him down in the rotation just to help manage his innings a little bit next year, because I think that he ran out of gas is what happened here. I don't think it's necessarily he ran into a buzzsaw of an offense in the Padres. I think it's more he's run out of gas at the end of the season.
Yeah, he got shelled. It was bad.
Yeah.
I wanted, like you said, I wanted to be more surprised. We talked about it in our playoff prep video, playoff primer, that we were concerned about Max, and it came true. It's a little upsetting that it did, because everybody loves Mad Max and we all want to see him do well. Guy that plays with that much intensity is always fun to watch. So yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
Good. Congratulations to the Padres, though. I mean, man, talk about not knowing where, not being expected. So that's both of us screwed up that part of our predictions.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly right. Okay. So next series, this is my baby. The Mariners at the Blue Jays. Oh my goodness, Brig. Let's just take this one inning at a time. No,
okay. Baseball family, we'll be here for 4 hours. It's going to be awesome.
Luis Castillo started things off with a fastball. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No. But really, though, the Mariners did start off right away. I mean, Julio Rodriguez got hit by a pitch to lead off the game. And then Gino Suarez comes in and he hits a double. And then big dumper, Cal Raleigh hits a dumper thumper. And just like that, Mariners are up 3-0. And it ended up being enough. They scored one run later, but they shut him out that first game. And I was expecting a win with Castillo. I was not expecting a shutout.
Right? No, I wasn't either.
That's a tough team to shut out.
Bro. Yeah. They really are.
As we saw in game 2.
Right?
To the tune of 8-1 after 5 innings. Yeah. And I'm not gonna rail on anybody for this, but I know people who were turning the game off. And in fact, it's fine, Jewel. It's fine that you turned the game off. It's just fine. But I have to say that just because I tell you this funny part. So, okay. So I believe it was the 6th inning. Carlos Santana hit a 3-run home run. So he had the bases loaded. Runner scores on a wild pitch. Then he hit a 3-run home run on the next pitch. Right. So in one at bat, he does drive in 4 runs without hitting a grand slam, right? So I texted Jewel. I was like, "Hey, Santana just took a butcher cleaver to the lead. It is 8-5." And he's like, "Oh shoot, I don't have it on." I was like, "Well, you turned it off. Then the rally started, so you're not allowed to turn the game back on. Them's the rules because we have to hold our positions where we are." And Brig, I have to tell you this too, because that at bat, I was like this. He hit that home run. I watched the next 3 innings like this because I had to hold the position.
For those of you listening, Brad is in a relatively exaggerated position with his hands on his face, and it's pretty hilarious, actually. Brad, we're going to put that on Instagram so people can see it.
That's just fine. That's exactly how that went down. This was my rally position, was my hands pulling down on both sides of my face. Eventually, my fingers were crossed. I think that's how it went down with the Frazier at bat. His fingers were crossed, pushing on both sides of my face. I don't think that will be the position for Game 1 of the ALDS, but we'll find the lucky spot and we'll get there.
You have to, man. Sometimes if I'm wearing a hat or I'm not wearing a hat, like I'll change hats throughout the game just to see if I can help the mojo go. If my hat changes, or I'll take the jersey off and I'll put it back on, or I'll put it on inside out. I'm so weird about it, dude.
It's like a real thing, man. I've switched spots on the couch. I've grabbed a cushion, held it on the other side, put it behind me, sat on it, just trying to find that spot. And when you find it, you don't move.
No.
Same thing goes with whether you're watching or not watching the game. You're not allowed to turn it back on until it's safe. So
I will do that too. I'll turn it off and turn on the radio or whatever if I gotta do. Yeah, we've talked about that.
But the big turning point, though, in that second game was the bullpens, right?
Yeah.
Like Robbie Ray just had a rough day. He got roughed up, gave up 4. Paul Sewald did come in and give up 4, but it was when Gausman came out was when the wheels fell off because he only gave up 1 run. He was responsible for those. He's responsible for 3 of those 4 runs.
3, yeah.
Right? But at the same time, when he was in, he only gave up 1. So.
That's fair.
But I just kept telling everybody. I just kept saying, get to the bullpen. Get to the bullpen. It'll be fine. Yep.
You've made that very clear. All year long, Brad. You deserve all the props, my man. All of them.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I might need to go back and chop those up and just play like a montage of the Blue Jays bullpen. The Blue Jays bullpen.
Yes, that's so good. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay playing in Cleveland. The Rays were at Cleveland, and that was astonishing. I mean, start to finish.
For so many reasons.
I just sat there and thought, we're hitless for how long? It's like 12-hour game.
Oh my gosh. Seriously. How do you... And I know the Mariners and Yankees went 13 innings without scoring a run?
Yeah.
This is the bottom of 13.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you go 15, especially in the playoffs.
I've seen 18, but not in the playoffs. I watched an 18-inning game once, and I was just like shocked. I think it was 2017. I watched it, and it was crazy.
It was just unreal. The final score of the series, Brig, was 3-1.
Right. Of the series.
Of the series, yes.
Not the game, the series.
Right. The final score was 3-1 because Cleveland won the first game 2-1 and then 1-0 in the second one. And they played 24 innings. Holy moly. Unreal. They almost played a full 3-game series.
They almost played full 3. Yeah, exactly.
And Oscar Gonzalez, who hit the walk-off home run in game 2, was the only guy to collect 3 hits in the series.
It's crazy.
Anemia. Straight up anemia on both sides.
For real.
And I'll give credit to pitching, right? Because we know both teams have great pitching, but at the same time, you've got to be able to hit the ball at some point in 24 innings.
So I just looked it up. You ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready.
The longest playoff games in MLB history. There are 3 tied for first place. They are 18-inning games, all of them. 2005 NLDS Game 4, Astros at Braves, 18 innings. The Astros won with 7. The Braves had 6. 2014 NLDS Game 2, Giants Nationals, 18 innings in 2014. Giants won 2-1 over the Nats. And 2018 World Series Game 3, Dodgers over Red Sox, 18 innings. Dodgers pulled it out with a 3-2 victory. There you go. Those are the longest games in history. This one ties for 5th all time.
It's got to be the longest scoreless game, though.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah, because it ends 0-1. So
yeah,
all the rest of these have scores.
Yeah, just absolutely crazy. But Cleveland's bullpen did throw 10 and a third scoreless innings between both games. That's like... I'm like irritated by the lack of offense, but at the same time, though, that's really good. That's pretty good, Brig.
That's pretty good. I like it a lot.
So, I think I don't know. We'll get there, but I think Cleveland's going to have some issues. So, Anyhow.
I was telling you the best thing possible for the Yankees is for these long distance games like this marathon 15 inning bullpen shredder games. I was so excited. I was sitting there pulling for Tampa Bay to win so that it would force a game 3 and leave them with fewer days off to rehab.
Yeah,
that's what I was wanting.
That'd be nice.
But,
yeah.
What are you gonna?
Well,
do?
that was one thing with the Mariners and Blue Jays that I was like, they went Castillo in that first game. I want to say it was Castillo, and then they just went to Munoz.
You only needed him.
Only one guy out of the bullpen.
Yeah, because he went 7. Did he go through 7?
He went 7 1/3.
Okay.
Which
was amazing. And that was a hallmark of all the starters this whole wild card series is most of them went at least into the 7th.
Oh, they let him empty the tank. I feel like part of this is with this 3-game series is that obviously it's win or go home, right? Like if you're down 1, like you gotta win. And even in game 1, like you gotta get that first game. So you're gonna do what it takes to get that win, and you gotta empty the tank if that's what it takes. Leave a guy in. If he's grooving, leave him in.
And I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I'm going to because I can. I think Scherzer recorded the fewest innings from any of the starting pitchers in any of the wild card games. If I'm thinking just off top of my head, because he didn't go deep at all.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
They took him out in the 4th.
Yeah, and Robbie Ray went. I want to say he went 3 2/3.
Oh, is that all? Okay,
yeah,
so maybe
he came out in the 4th, maybe the beginning of the 5th, but I think it was the 4th.
So then both of them would have probably been the worst starting performances.
Yeah. So he did go 4 2/3, and then Brash came in and closed out the inning. That's how that went. So, but hey, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get into the NLDS.
No matter which ballpark you're at, you want to rep your team. Now you can with 9+ Us. Welcome to the Big City Series. With every design available in your team's colors, you can fit in with the home crowd or stand out on the road. Either way, we have the colors you crave. Shop the Big City Series and find designs that rep your favorite baseball podcast, cheer from the cheap seats, and much more. Shop the Big City Series only at 9plusus.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. We before we get into what is about to happen in the National League and American League Division Series, we need to go back through our meaningless predictions a little bit because there were some stakes on the line, Brad. I don't know if you remember.
And by stakes, you mean pies, of course.
Pies, yes. Let's be very clear. We bet pies, whipped cream pies. Okay, so I selected that the Phillies would lose to St. Louis, and that did not happen. So Philadelphia advanced, making my bracket now null and void. I also selected that the Mets would advance beyond San Diego. That didn't happen. I thought Toronto would beat Seattle. That did not happen. And I thought Cleveland would beat Tampa Bay, and that's the only one I got right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you thought Tampa Bay would advance beyond.
I did, yes.
Past Cleveland,
yes,
right?
And we did put a pie on that one.
We did. So you get a pie in the face there, but then you selected Seattle would advance beyond Toronto, and we put a pie on that one too, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did indeed put a pie on that. So we each owe 1 pie. Let's just keep a tally. We'll do them all at the end.
Yes.
After the World Series.
All right.
So I owe 1 pie currently. I am off the hook for 1 though in the NLDS though, because I said that if the Mets advanced, they would beat the Dodgers. But San Diego, there's no pie.
Right. Well, should we renegotiate the stakes into the division series?
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll
do
that when we get there.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the NLDS, the National League Division Series. There's 2 coming up. First will be Atlanta is going to face off against Philadelphia. And that's really, first of all, like we've made very clear, it's unexpected, but it's also very exciting. Atlanta, they're the defending champions from last season, and we're really excited to see how they stack up because everybody is saying that they're better this year than they were last year. What I think is really interesting is that the names that they're using to support that argument are not known quantities in the playoffs. So I'm pretty interested to see how that turns out. Not all of them, but some of them. We don't know how they perform in October.
Right.
So,
I don't. Yeah, like Matt Olson, for instance.
Exactly.
No clue. But I will say this: is that they've got Austin Riley, they've got Acuna, and poor Ozzy Albies. Is not going to be there. But but you still got your pitching staff, which was their bread and butter last year.
It was.
Right.
And it still is. And honestly, Spencer Strider, to me, is one of the most exciting pieces of this pitching rotation. And he is headed back. They are excited. They said he played catch, was it yesterday and today, on even surfaces just to kind of see where he was at. And he reported no strain, no discomfort at all.
That's good.
It's really good.
Really good. Good.
Yeah.
Jason, our buddy Jason, pointed this out to us. The Phils went 8-11 against the Braves in the season series. Going into the final series, it was split 6-6.
Wow.
So,
thanks, Jason.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. 2 completely different places in that last series.
Right.
So I think it's, I don't know.
ahead.
And I think this is significant. This is a small thing. They locked up Spencer Strider. You're likely NL Rookie of the Year. 6 years, $75 million. I feel like that's a big deal just because that's one of those things. One less thing for him to ever have to worry about. Even if he wasn't thinking about it, I'm sure somewhere in the back recesses of his mind, he's just like, I'm guaranteed.
Yeah.
Just got to go out and play now.
Well, and not just guaranteed, but they love me. They're invested in me. They have faith in me. I've proven myself. Like it's so much deeper than I have money now.
Right. Yeah. You're right. It's a big demonstration of faith. And I think the same thing goes with Phillies manager Rob Thompson.
Totally.
They just extended him 2 years, and I think he's your front runner for NL Manager of the Year.
Yes.
Even though he didn't manage the whole year.
No, it doesn't matter.
I think he's your guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think you're right. And because what he has done is just astonishing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm very excited about it.
What he took them from to what he brought them to, I think was just absolutely unreal. And I think he's more deserving than just about anybody at this point.
I agree.
So, Brig, when it comes down to it, who do you think has the edge in this series and why?
The Braves. And for all the reasons we've mentioned, I think that they have the talent. I think they have the experience. I think they have the drive and I think they've expected themselves to be here for a long time, whereas the Phillies haven't expected themselves to be here for more than maybe 5 or 6 days, honestly. And so I think some of that goes a long way. I don't think that tells the whole story, and I don't think it'll carry the whole day, but I do think that mentality will build some momentum toward their success here. I don't think it'll be easy, but I don't think the Phillies are going to come out on top.
No, I think it'll be a fight. Out of the 5 games, I think it'll probably go 4, but I think all 4 will be close. When it comes down to it, though, like if you were to stack up the Phillies and the Braves side by side and just go, okay, number 1 starting pitcher, who's the edge go to?
Yeah.
Braves. Catcher, who's the edge go to? Phillies. And just go all the way down the roster. I think you'd have more tick marks on the Braves side when it comes down to it, and not just by a little bit either.
No,
don't get me wrong. There are some great players on that Phillies roster.
For
but
sure.
The Braves have shown that the guys who came out last year and we were like, oh, who's that guy, are now household names because they were not just a playoff phenomenon. They are legitimate players who contribute every single day of the season. And I think that's going to be a big deal.
So did you know that the run differential between the two when they play each other is 88 to 85 in favor of Atlanta?
Wow. That's crazy. Isn't
that crazy?
Yeah, given that the Phillies lost that season series 8-11. That's crazy.
I think the Braves took 11 out of the 19 that they faced each other. But yeah, the
Phillies
run differentials.
They would have had to blow them out
differentials. Yeah, it's 88 to 85. I thought that was awesome. But I think that they're better by position, like you were saying, one by one going down the line. And then I think their pitching is better
Yeah, they got it. That bullpen. I mean, the bullpen is going to be the undoing for the Phillies when it comes down to it. We saw
And
it
maybe
in
everybody
Toronto.
else.
Yeah,
They might just pick people apart with the bullpen.
yeah, maybe. But
Okay, let's move on to San Diego and LA.
LA
Because we're moving to
Okay.
Chavez Ravine, ladies and gentlemen.
for now, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the Dodgers and Padres facing off in the playoffs. I think it has just like the extra edge, kind of like it when the Yankees and Mets meet in the World Series, but it's better because it's not like a localized World Series. Instead, you're just getting a playoff series.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I think the big deal here, like this whole playoff run, is just this thing lingering over the Dodgers that Dave Roberts guaranteed a World Series win back in spring training.
Do you
And he
think
did
they're
say-
still thinking about it?
Well, I will say this. He did put the caveat there that if we stay healthy,
Yeah.
they don't have Walker Buehler.
So
I think that's a big deal.
I think it's a deal. I don't know that it's a deal breaker.
Okay, how about this? Game 1, you've got Clevenger and Yu Darvish going. Mike Clevenger, Yu Darvish.
Okay.
In game 2, Clevenger, Urias going game 1. Sorry.
Right.
And then Darvish and Kershaw going game 2.
Yeah.
I would rather have Buehler going against Darvish.
Of course. You'd rather have Buehler.
That's why I think it's a big deal.
Well, yeah, but I don't think Urias is a bad pick.
No,
though,
he's
for
not.
Game
He's
1.
not. He's not.
I don't think that, like, if you were choosing between two healthy starters, obviously you're going to go with Walker Buehler. But because
you're also without Gonsolin.
Yeah. Now, I think that's the bigger deal because it has been less time since we lost Gonsolin than it has been since Walker Buehler.
Buehler was early.
So Buehler's not even in the conversation half the time. You're not even thinking, crap. But with Gonsolin, you're like, man, I wish we,
the fact that he was an all-star this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. And I think this is what I want to say finally, is that I was so surprised by San Diego in Queens. I was so surprised that I can't wait to see what they do against LA.
I know. And I had the same thought that I was like, but wait, like right after the trade, the Dodgers just like shoved him into a trash can, right?
They did.
Like,
they really did.
Straight up, they bullied him. And I don't think it's going to go that same way just because the Padres have had time to figure themselves out, right? Figure things out with the new trade, get everybody into their little spot. And Josh Bell has remembered how to hit home runs, apparently.
What?
So there's that.
What the heck's up with Josh Bell? And he produces it as well. It's not just bombs.
Yeah.
He's hitting production contact baseball, and it's crazy.
It's October Josh Bell. Some guys, it's weird. Some guys show up in October. They're good for like the whole season, or like they'll have like a really bad second half, and then it's like October comes and there they are, right?
That's how Stanton is. That's Stanton's name of the game.
Yeah.
That's his MO.
Yeah, he's like, you get me there. I'll get you the rest of the way.
Right. Yeah. Unlike Kershaw, who's the opposite.
Oh, that poor guy.
I know. And Verlander has a little bit of that too.
I don't feel bad for most guys who have that, but Kershaw, I really do. I feel so bad for him.
That's how I feel
so
too.
bad.
Yeah,
I don't feel at all bad
agree.
for Verlander though.
Nope.
Not even a little bit. So are you going to give the edge? So are you going to give the edge to the Dodgers in this one? Just because of the same reason they stack up better.
Yeah, they stack up better. And I think it's going to come down to offensive production. I think pitching is going to be a big deal, but I think honestly this comes down to offensive production. They're going to
an offensive series.
They're going to outproduce San Diego. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and it won't be because the pitching is worse. It'll be because the offense is better, if that makes sense.
It does make sense that your pitching can only be so good when you have great hitters.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what you do, that they're just going to put in.
What do you think? Are you in the same boat?
I am. I have a hard time betting against a team that won 111 games. I know the Mets won 101, but that was
they did.
Mets.
Shut up.
This is the
Just say that. I guess last week I'd have given you so much crap about that, but this week I have to just agree with you.
You have to go with it.
It's like unreal. Okay, hold on. So you're giving the advantage to Atlanta over Philly and LA over San Diego. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, we both are.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if there's going to be any pies to bet.
No, not on this one.
Well, I'm saying it all in the
Oh,
division
you're probably
series.
right. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, we'll see. This is really fun. There should be pies, though. Okay, maybe I'll just be mean and pick somebody else.
We can. I don't know. We'll figure it out. When we figure it out, we will. We'll put it out on. We'll put it on the TikTok machine or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there. Okay. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we get back, let's talk more about. Let's talk about the ALDS this time.
The None Other Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the None Other Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back, baseball family. So we're going to get in and talk about the American League here, and I'm so excited for both of these series, and not just because the Mariners are in. I'd be excited for these anyway, probably because I'm an American League fan. But that's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's start in New York. Start with the Cleveland baseball team against the Yankees. So we have our starting pitchers in Game 1. We've got Cal Quantrill against Gerrit Cole.
Right.
This is fascinating because Gerrit Cole, you don't know what you're going to get from him, I feel like.
No, you don't. So grateful, as a Yankees fan, I'm grateful that it's a 5-game series.
Right.
Because he could totally botch this start and it still be salvageable. Like it's going to be fine. What we cannot let happen is have a botched outing by any of our starting pitchers coupled with offensive anemia. Like you can't do that because that'll be a momentum killer. I feel like the team is just emotional enough that could carry into the next day. And you just have to be really careful with like the emotional balance. But I think it's interesting that the American League skips a day. So Game 1 is on Tuesday. Game 2 is on Thursday. So it's whether it was built this way or not, I don't know. But let's say Gerrit Cole goes out and throws it, just puts up just gets shelled, right? It's just awful. And let's say the Yankees offense just does not perform that day. They get a whole day to realize what went wrong, study it out, recenter themselves, and come back on Thursday for Nestor Cortes to take the bump. I think that could be to their advantage, depending on how this goes.
It could be, yeah. And, I thought it was weird that the ALCS was starting a day after the NLCS, but I think that's why that day is built in, is strictly because of TV contracts and deals and stuff like that.
It's got to be.
But yeah, I think you're absolutely right, though, that if Gerrit Cole comes out and lays an egg, then you got that day to recover. I think that'll be a big deal. I think it'll be a big deal for both teams because Game 2 is Bieber against Nestor. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's ace on ace, baby. That's going to be a really interesting experience for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting you say ace on ace because obviously Gerrit Cole is the ace by dollar amount, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, Nestor, you want the Nestor Cortes against Shane Bieber matchup. That's
totally
the one you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and then day 3 is going to be I don't think Cleveland has selected their day 3 starter, but
I'll take a look real quick.
Luis Severino is going to take the hill for the Yankees in Game 3. And that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. I think what it comes down to is that it's built this way. They haven't selected their guy.
I don't see anybody, no.
I didn't think so. So that's the benefit here because, like I said, if Cole lays an egg, it's okay. Because then we can go and win with Nestor. We could win with Sevy. Even if Sevy doesn't go. Sevy's third start back, they had to pull him through the 6th inning, and he was pitching a no-no. And they were like, dude, we got to save you for the playoffs because of pitch count. But he tossed a no-no. He got to like 56 pitches through 6 innings or something like that. It was fabulous. So
yeah, and I don't think they'll do that this time around either. I think they would just let him go.
They're going to let him go.
Because like Luis Castillo with the Mariners, he's been coming out hard at 100 pitches. Like that's the way the Mariners have been, like 102 tops with guys, right? Like if you're at 99 and then it's like next batter's like, we'll pull you out. And so he went like 105, 106, something like that. And they were talking on the broadcast that he went 123 at one point, 123, 125 at one point with the Reds this season and tossed a complete game. So it's like, it's not out of the realm of the possibility for him to keep going, but they were just like, you know what? We'll save you, let you get the rest because we don't need you right now.
Yep.
So
brilliant decision making. Brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Severino, I think if he's dealing, he could go 7, 8.
Yeah.
Then they'll go to the pen.
7 for sure. Well, and we need our starters to go that deep because the pen is in shambles right now. Like the hard part about winning games, and maybe not necessarily against Cleveland, but if they do beat Cleveland and advance, whoever they end up facing in the ALCS is going to want to get to the bullpen as quickly as possible. Obviously, that builds in time for the Yankees to have their bullpen guys come back a little bit. There's a couple of guys that are on the fence with their rehab assignments and their healing process from the IL. But ultimately, what it comes down to is the bullpen is the weak point. It used to be the strongest part of the game. Now it's the weakest because of injuries.
Yeah, and that would definitely be a problem going into the next round. I don't think it will be so much in this round, just because, like we talked about, the Guardians don't have a whole lot of offense, right? They have some guys who get on base for you. You got Jose Ramirez, who's a nightmare for every pitcher. Yeah, but other than that,
they got a couple other guys, but it's not like Juan. He has been kind of he's a revelation this year.
Yeah.
And being a rookie and everything, I mean, he's phenomenal. And I think if you stack up our left field against Cleveland's left field, I got to give it to Juan.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter who we put in left field. It's just not as good as Juan.
There are several positions I would give to Cleveland.
Third base is a perfect example with Jose.
Yeah.
Especially with DJ LeMahieu's toes. Like we still don't feel great about his toes.
Yeah, I'd give the catcher position to the Guardians too with Austin Hedges.
Would you over Jose Trevino?
I don't know about over Trevino. That's a good point. Over Higgy for sure.
Over Higgy, yeah, but Higgy's not our everyday starter right now. It's Jose Trevino, and Trevino's better than Hedges.
Might be a push, but I don't know.
But then first base would be Rizzo.
Oh,
easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Center field, right field, Bader, Judge, easy. The Yankees got that one. Anyway,
DH, yeah.
DH with Stanton, yeah. So it's not as clean as Yankees fans want it to be, but historically, every time Cleveland comes to New York, they get whipped up on pretty good. So
yeah,
we'll see.
And that's and that's really, like, I would give it to the Yankees in this one for sure. And it's the highs in New York are higher than the highs in Cleveland.
Oh yeah,
right? A more balanced team. I think it definitely goes in New York's way much better.
My only problem is that the temperatures are going to slow the ball down flying through the air in New York a little bit more than they will in Ohio, just a little bit more. So we'll see. I don't know, but you got to be able to hit the long ball in the postseason.
I think the Yankees can still do it. I don't think that it'll affect it as much because how far Stanton and Judge hit them, I don't think the cold necessarily has an effect on it.
It's true.
Especially
if they're not pushing so hard for launch angle.
Yeah, and I think Rizzo too. Rizzo's got a good swing. I think it's pure enough that he's still going to.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Ryan asks whether we've got Cleveland over New York. And we haven't really said yet, so let's call it, Brad.
I got New York.
Yeah, me too.
Just for all those reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stack up
I've
better.
got New York.
Top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's head down to Houston.
Your favorite.
Oh, my gosh. Like, it was one of those things where it was like the Mariners won, and I was like, oh, got to go to Houston. No, going to enjoy this for several days.
Yeah.
Before I worry anything about Houston. In fact, my mom texted me, and this is what I told her. Okay, this is what I said. is that Houston does a lot of things really well to make up for the things that they don't do well. And the one thing that they really don't do well is they don't get on base. They rely a whole lot on the home run ball. The problem with that with the Mariners, they give up a lot of home runs. They don't give up a lot of base runners. They give up a lot of home runs. The runs they give up are typically off of dingers. And that's really what worries me, is that it's like they're still going to get their runs. They're still going to score their runs because they're going to hit them out of the park, especially to left field where they call the Crawford boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a problem. It has me so worried, Brig. Just
I don't blame you, because it's a worrisome situation for you.
That's why they call me Whiskers.
Whiskers. Nobody calls you Whiskers, Brad.
It's from an SNL sketch, Brig.
Okay, but nobody ever calls you that.
Nobody's ever called me Whiskers.
Would you quit lying to our baseball family? Because nobody ever calls you that. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. Starting pitchers. Logan Gilbert's going to face Justin Verlander for game 1.
That's going to be so much fun.
Is going to be a killer game. Because Verlander's dealing. What is he? 1.74 ERA through the regular season this year?
Yeah,
like
something like
he's
that.
He's clearly the front runner for the American League Cy Young.
Yeah, he's going to win it.
He's going to win it, and it's well deserved. What is this? His third? This will be his third or something like that.
300th? I don't know, something like that. He's
Who cares? He's obsessed with the number 3, though. So this could be really cool for him to get his third.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
This is the thing with Verlander, though, is October Verlander is different. It's very different, and not in the way that the Astros want him to be.
Not a good way, yeah.
He gets worse as the playoffs go, and I'm wondering, again, rest versus rust. Because that's what we're going to get into with an old dude like Justin Verlander, who's knocking on the door, heading over the hill into 40.
Yep.
And just had a week off of baseball activity. I don't know what he did or didn't do during that time. Like I said, you have the ability to do things because you have the facilities available. Yeah. But I don't know what he did or didn't do. I don't know what he's going to be like coming into this series. And this is the other thing, too, is historically, if the Mariners are patient with Justin Verlander, they get to him. If he forces them to swing early in the count, they're toast. If they can work the count and get his pitch count up early, they do really well against him. And it's not even necessarily running him. It's working into deep, being able to work into deep counts. That's where they get him.
Interesting.
So if they're able to do that, then they'll be fine.
So it's mental for Verlander, you think? If they just have to disrupt his mental game? If
I think
they get behind?
I think so. If they're able to just work into those deep counts, because I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily disrupting his rhythm or anything, or if it's just like he doesn't like to pitch deep counts. I don't know.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah,
because it's night and day.
We don't know who game 2 starters will be yet, do we?
I'm assuming it's going to be Framber Valdez for the Astros. And I saw one source today said Castillo for the Mariners, but I don't know for sure because I haven't seen anywhere official besides Twitter. And you know how news is on Twitter, Brig.
I do. Yeah, I'm familiar. Ryan, thanks for watching. Appreciate you, man.
That would be a heck of a matchup, though.
I agree. I totally agree. And I would love to see it because I just want to watch Castillo pitch. I don't care who he's pitching for. I don't care for how long. I don't care what the game situation is. I just really love watching him pitch. So that's exciting. I know you love that he's pitching for Seattle.
I do. Got that. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say. So I saw he pitched the game I went to, right?
Yeah.
And I looked at my dad in like the second inning. I was like, I have never seen 100 miles an hour look so effortless. The dude's just so smooth.
Right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Super cool. Okay, so let's get into who do you think has the edge here, Brad? That's the real question.
I want to give it to Seattle just because I'm a homer. Yeah. But experience, top to bottom roster, because Houston still has a powerhouse roster, right?
For sure.
And when it comes down to pitching, too, with the way that the Astros pitch is just out of control, disgusting. I got to give it to Houston.
Okay. I got to give it to Houston as well for all the same reasons, but I really want Seattle to win.
Oh, I definitely want Seattle to win.
Yeah. I just need you to know that, like, beyond mere solidarity, beyond just wanting this for you, I really do want Seattle to win. I think that would be more fun all the way around in the playoffs. The ALCS would be more fun for us. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, that
would be insane.
It'd be more fun for our listeners too.
Yeah, you're right. We would be so just really intolerable to one another. Right? Like, shut up, Brad. Well, and can you imagine a Nestor Cortes Luis Castillo game? Like,
two
just put that in your
polar
brain.
opposite guys
Yes.
pitching. That would be out of control. Absolutely,
it would be amazing. But it's not going to happen. We're going to see Houston. We're going to see Houston advance most likely, and that'll put New York against Houston. So, but baseball family, we are going to catch back up with you on Thursday through the playoffs. Just as a reminder, we're going live Thursday nights and Monday nights. We will continue to publish our show Monday or Tuesday morning with the lives, and Friday morning. These live broadcasts will be available anywhere you want to get your podcasts. It doesn't matter. We're available everywhere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review wherever it is you're watching. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, any of the different opportunities on the million. I mean, there's a million podcast platforms out there. Like, so, whatever you can do to support us would be great with a like and a follow. Go ahead and invite your friends and family that you think would enjoy what we're doing. Share it with them because we want more people in our baseball family until we achieve world domination with baseball family. So I don't know. That's literally off the cuff. I have no idea.
It's the new plan. It's official.
It's the new plan. What are we going to do tonight, Brad?
Try to take over the world, Brig. Yes. But don't forget, while we've got it right here in the middle of the screen and on my t-shirt, head over to ChinookSeedery.com. Get the best seeds ever. Use code BTPOD at checkout to save 10% off your order and support the show while supporting your mouth. The baseball family, thank you again for joining us this week, and we will catch you